Night Brothers Intermittent Fasting coming to you live and direct on this Tuesday night.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kalani. I'm a new Night Brothers correspondent. Welcome to tonight's show where we discuss healthy ways to improve your lives. We have a super dope show lined up for you tonight and hope you enjoy our content. We know you are a loyal viewer and want to see the show grow. So I ask that you do me a quick favor and subscribe to KBS YouTube channel shown on the screen. Also scan the QR code on the screen where you can make a donation of any amount to support us. And oh yeah, thanks to the best audience.
No doubt. No doubt, Kalani.
Yes, sir.
Kalani on point, Q. I like Kalani's braids, you know what I mean?
Why? Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're glad to have you on board as we get ready to rip it up once again on the Night Brothers show.
Yes, yo.
Shout out our people as you see them, Q.
Welcome, Mimi Lee, to the show.
Welcome, Mimi.
Cheryl Queen.
Number one stunner, Margaret Nick. Welcome back.
Nick.
Welcome, Miss Cheryl Queen, to the show. Cheryl, it was sure good seeing you this weekend.
Yes, it was, indeed. Had a lot of fun, indeed.
Who else we got out there? Margaret Nick, number one stunner.
Margaret Nick, how you doing, Margaret? And Margaret, I got to get with you about the Super Bowl pool, too, as well.
Oh, you got a poll going? You got illegalities and didn't let us know?
Margaret has that normal thing she has every year.
Wow. Good evening, Linda Tongue. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's Linda Tongue. We're still bad in the
Still your birthday. Peace and love.
NASA! What's up, NASA?
That's my girl, Vanessa Turner, in the house. What's up, Vanessa?
Turner.
Uh-huh.
Good evening.
Yes, indeed. Who else we got out there, Q? Cheryl said ditto. It was great seeing you, Cheryl. Looking great. Indeed. Look, you know what? We can tell our intermittent fastest, boy. I seen Cheryl. I was like, hey, go on, Cheryl, girl. You kind of doing your thing with that intermittent fasting, girl.
Definitely. Rocking and rolling.
Uh-huh. All right. All right, y'all, look. I want it on the pool, too, Linda. I told Margaret and Q they doing illegalities.
No, not me. Margaret
not including the rest of us in on this, and I want to win.
Hey, man.
No, it's Margaret's pool. I want to make sure we get that straight. Margaret has the pool, not myself. Margaret has the pool.
We need to talk to Margaret.
Under the bus.
Shout outs to Sharon Henry, Q.
Hey, Sharon, how you doing?
What's up, Sharon?
Another one of my good friends says from back in the day. How you doing tonight?
Cheryl looked like she went in on that too, Margaret. You might have to get two pools.
Hit her up.
All right, y'all. Y'all ready for a hot show, brothers?
Yes, sir. Let's do it, baby.
We have a very, very interesting show. We have an outstanding guest that's always intriguing, and it's just going to be a fantastic show. You know, I have 1s, 2s, 5s, 10s, and 20s every year. Y'all make sure y'all win. When y'all win, make a donation to the show.
Yeah.
I'm on every one of them. I'm going to join every one of them. So I'll be with you later on, probably tomorrow.
Yes,
all right. Vonda Franklin.
Vonda Bless Franklin.
Hey, Vonda.
Yes, love.
Kara Snow.
Getting shit letter.
Kara in the building.
Kara Snowden
See
Brown.
you too this weekend, Kara.
Ashley. This weekend as well.
All right, y'all. We got to get this thing moving. But as you join the show, look, what you could do just about right now while we about to transition to the next segment, just share this on your page real quick. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, wherever you at, just share this to your friends. Maybe they'll join us tonight. If nothing else, they'll look at it and join us next week, and then you can work on them for a whole week. All right?
Let's go. Well, welcome. You know what it is. This is the Night Brothers Fasting Show, intermittent fasting show. Or the Night Brothers Show if you visit us on YouTube. We definitely look forward to having you around, and we want you to be around for your family a lot longer, a lot stronger, a lot more healthy. Because right here, You know where you are, right? This is where healthy is the new sexy. And you already know health is your wealth. So we want you to get more healthy, more sexy, and more better. So welcome to the Night Brothers Show. And again, we'd like to thank Mimi Lee, Cheryl Queen, Pam Williams, Armand Wallace, and others that have given us donations in reference to the show. And you can definitely visit us on Cash App. You can scan the QR code. Also, that'll take you to right to Kenny Dizzle 1113. So we appreciate your support, your presence here, your shares, your likes, your comments, most importantly, because this is not just the Night Brothers show. This is our show, the whole community. And we appreciate how you get in and kick in. And we just love you from the heart, for sure. From day one. Peace and love. Let's keep it moving. We got a show to hit. It's going to be...
Hello everyone. My name is Imani Kaya. I'm here to help Equavian. Are you there, Mr. Fastmaster?
Good evening. Yes, I am. How you doing?
Okay, then welcome to tonight's show where we discuss healthy ways to improve your lives. We have a super dope show lined up for you tonight, Mr. Fastmaster. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
So audience, if you are a loyal viewer and want to see the show grow, so scan the QR code on the screen and make a small donation of any amount to support us. Oh yeah, thank to the best audience on the internet.
No doubt. Imani,
Definitely appreciate that.
we definitely got the best audience. Q, tell me what's up.
Man, we have another dope show tonight, man, and I'm excited about it. We got some great things lined up tonight. First thing off the break, now please aboard with our special guest, none other than Miss Melissa Clink, joining us from Forsyth County in Georgia. How you doing, Melissa? Good to have you
Great,
on
good
board.
to see you.
All right, Q, what's next?
And then Melissa and drink one number one. This next break will be our special feature, man. Tonight, another feature tonight is going to be an update on a KBS Holiday Challenge. And you know, guys, we're going to break that down for you, week one, and where your progress. And then we're going to converse about week one and your results, and slide over into week two. And following that, time permitting, once again, we're going to have week three. Greek number three will be an update, an NFL update, if we get a chance to get it in. Hopefully we will. Back to you, Len.
All right, buddy, y'all ready for Melissa?
Yes, sir.
If y'all ready for Melissa,
Man, let's bring
drop a one in the chat group if you ready
Put
for
a one in the
Melissa.
chat group for Melissa.
I don't see no ones. Y'all ain't getting Melissa. All right, here we go, y'all. All right.
Here we go. We got a 1, 2, 3.
We started it all, no doubt. All right, here we go, y'all. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out Kyra, Kim Walker. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, I think we can bring Melissa out.
Go.
I think
Bring
we
her to
bring.
the stage.
Go ahead and say, bring her out.
Man,
Bring her out. Bring her out. Bring her out. Bring her out.
Welcome back,
All right, here we
Melissa.
go.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome, welcome.
Hey, there you are. Good evening.
Good to
How
be
you
here
doing?
with you tonight.
Good to see you, dear.
Good to see you guys too. Always glad to be
Always a pleasure, Clank. Always a pleasure.
Looking
Welcome.
good.
Welcome back. How's it down there in Forsyth County, Georgia these days?
Oh, it is very, very busy. We're busy drawing maps. I'll talk more about that later tonight, and redrawing lines. So we're going to find out what congressional district we'll be in by the end of this week, actually. So
Wow.
Good. Good. How's the weather down there?
right now it's chilly, but it can't make up its mind. So like sometimes it's warm, sometimes it's chilly. So which I'm fine with. I don't like it to be cold. So
Yeah, it was warm all last week.
yeah,
Look like
right
some
now it's a
other
little
people.
chilly tonight. So
Look, let me ask you this. This is off the cuff, though. Don't have nothing to do with the show.
okay.
But Alabama just beat Georgia in the football thing. What do people say down there?
So I know a lot of Georgia fans were really heartbroken. But I also know a lot of Alabama fans who are loving being on top again.
Right.
Thankfully, I didn't watch it at all. I think I was doing politics.
I hear you, girl. I hear you.
You're doing some real work.
Well,
Yeah.
I just wanted to get some comments on the screen while you was answering that, because a lot of people giving you a lot of love. So,
Well, thank you. Thanks, everybody.
so look, let's dive into it. Kenny, it's your segment. This is Child Please. Won't you take over, brother? Take over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. First of all, welcome back, Melissa. Thank you for giving us your time. I know your time is very valuable. You have a lot going on down there. Forsyth County. Good
Love
evening,
being
folks, to another edition of the Marty Hayes Child Please Award. But tonight, this is more of a WTF award. I've been digging and researching content about the current State of the Union. The presidential election is roughly a year away. We're involved in not one but two world wars. There's a lot of financial things, a lot of financial questions a lot of people have. So I reached out to a good friend of mine, political strategist, Forsyth County, Georgia, Melissa. We had to bring her back to the show. She has so much insight. Tonight we're going to present you with some comments, videos about how all this spending is ridiculous spending, I call it, is going on right now, how it's affecting you, how it's affecting us, how it will affect the potential election. There's just a lot going on about the aid to U.S., the U.S.'s aid to Ukraine, the U.S.'s aid to Israel, the billions and billions of dollars we read about, we hear about every day. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at this video. Lenny's going to show you. We'll be right back. We'll talk about it on the other side. Go to the video, Lenny.
All right, brother.
Now, concerns are growing in Congress about just the growing cost of war, not just in Israel, but now on two different fronts. The price tag is inching into the hundreds of billions of dollars. Tom Dempsey joins us from Capitol Hill with concerns over the price tag of support. So, Tom, we now have two major wars, and the White House is pledging its allegiance to both of them.
Yeah, and it's not cheap providing aid for those wars, Marky. You know, literally at this minute, of course, wars are being fought in both the Middle East and Ukraine. The United States has already provided billions of dollars for Ukraine, and now President Biden will call on leaders to pass even more assistance to the tune of tens of billions of dollars for Ukraine and Israel. So this morning, News Nation wanted to examine the impact of all this assistance, not only on our allies, but also on military readiness here at home. This morning, the United States continues to lend a helping hand on the battlefield, not only with Israel, but also in Ukraine, where forces still battle against Russia. Since the invasion by the Russian military began over a year and a half ago, Department of Defense data show the U.S. has provided almost $44 billion in military assistance, including thousands of Javelin missiles, accounting for a sizable percentage of the U.S. stockpile. Now, with war being waged between Israel and Hamas in Gaza, the U.S. military has sent 2 aircraft carriers with thousands of sailors aboard, joined by 13 warships, over 100 fighter jets, and 2,000 specially trained Marines. The amount of support, though, brings some questions about how much the U.S. can be stretched. Well, USspending.gov reports the Department of Defense has $1.8 trillion available in budget resources this fiscal year. A senior advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies recently said, quote, "As time goes on, there will be trade-offs as certain key systems are diverted to Israel. A few systems that Ukraine needs for its counteroffensive may not be available in the numbers that Ukraine would like, especially if the war in Gaza drags on." While appearing on CBS 60 Minutes this past Sunday, President Joe Biden pushed back against those concerns.
We're the United States of America, for God's sake. The most powerful nation in the history, not in the world, in the history of the world. The history of the world. We can take care of both of these and still maintain our overall international defense.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen echoed those comments from President Joe Biden in her own words, saying that the U.S. can continue to assist both Ukraine and Israel because, again, in her own words, the economy is doing extremely well. Guys.
And Taiwan and Palestinians. All right. Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
All right. Thank you, News Nation, but we won't need all of that. Melissa.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Okay. Good to see you.
We're joking, Melissa, but we got serious subjects to talk about. And when we talk about a lot of political issues and issues of the day that really affect the American citizen, we always come to you because we know that you're on the ground. You have a different perspective and a different down in Georgia. And we really want to try, and you are insider too into the whole political scene. Yeah. So we're going to start off with some tough ones and then we're going to shift it all around. And your homie is going to start off first and start with the hard ones. You ready, Kenny?
Hey, let's do it.
I'm ready for you.
Do it. Melissa, thanks once again for taking your time and coming back. When the brothers and I decided to do this topic, it was you were an automatic choice.
Well,
because
thank you.
A lot in here that I've been researching this for weeks, and there's a lot I don't understand. So we're going to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Melissa, what's your opinion? Yes, what's your opinion on the U.S. financial support of all these wars, all these billions of dollars, even though we still struggle with our economy here? And before we get started, I just want the people to know the U.S. has spent post 9/11, 22 years ago, $8 trillion on war. I'm going to say that one more time. $8 trillion on wars. Give us some enlightenment. Help us out here because we don't know.
Yeah, that's a great question. So inflation is easing, and we are hoping to see that continue to trend down to more comfortable levels for all of us. And Business Insider predicts that mortgage rates will continue to go down in 2024. So we're being brought through a strain in our economy due to world events and a historic pandemic. Things are improving slowly, but there's still a lot to be done. The middle class and the working poor are always better served in the long term under Democratic policies rather than Republicans. And Republicans still want us to believe that money will all just magically trickle down from job creators. And we've had 30 years to learn that that's not how this works.
No doubt.
So as far as as the foreign funding goes, I'm a millennial. So I have a different perspective. And the reason why is because millennials were born during the Cold War. And then in elementary school, we had Desert Storm, and then we had the Kosovo intervention. During my high school years, I had 9/11 and the War on Terror began. I remember a classmate crying because her father was a Marine and had been deployed before we got out of school that day. So in the decades that followed, the same classmates were fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan, and burn pits damaged our friends. And they experienced lack of quality and speedy care when they returned home. And then the alarming suicide rates of veterans climbed. The millennials are tired of constant war and look at international conflict much differently than other generations. And even saying all of that, foreign aid still has its place. So I want to talk to you about foreign aid tonight. So U.S. intervention helped end both World War I and World War II, and that led to the kind of foreign aid programs we know today. So the Army veteran George Marshall and U.S. Secretary of State, he was instrumental in developing what we know today as the Marshall Plan. The Marshall Plan did not by any means invent foreign aid, but well before America existed, countries and nations helped each other out in terms of food, weapons, people, and all number of resources. And these countries also often went to war, and then more aid and resources were needed.
Wow.
Such is the way of the world's civilization, when they failed to find a non-violent means to address their grievances. So in his address to Harvard in 1947, he was speaking about Europe specifically after the war, but in his words, on the need for foreign aid still ring true today. And I wanted to share those with all of you. So aside from the demoralizing effect on the world at large and the possibilities of disturbances arising as a result of the desperation of the people concerned, the consequences to the economy of the United States should be apparent to all. So it's logical that the United States should do whatever is able to assist in the return of normal economic health in the world, without which there can be no political stability and no assured peace. Our policy is directed not against any country or doctrine, but against hunger, poverty, desperation, and chaos.
Amen.
No doubt, no doubt.
That's
But
deep.
Melissa,
That's deep.
but how do you strike the balance with that off of Kenny's question, though? I mean, because we want to be a good corporate world citizen, but damn, I mean, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Well,
there's a couple things you need to remember too, though. The U.S. is the largest economy, and while we are spending a ton of money on foreign aid, we are spending a smaller percentage of our budget than that of other countries who are less wealthy. Not only that, but the average American believes that up to 26% of the federal budget is spent on foreign aid, when in reality, it's around 1%, depending on the needs of the world at any given year.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I think my brother has a question for you too, and he wants to kind of take it from a different cue.
Melissa, you know, so many things that's going on. How you doing, first of all? It's good to see you.
How you doing?
Good, good. It's great to see you once again. Melissa,
You
but
too.
how should the U.S. long-standing relationship with Ukraine and Israel be weighed and measured when determining our support? Americans do have, Americans do not agree with our positions on these wars. Can you break that down a little bit for us, if you would, please? Just take your time, of course.
Yeah, so the wars currently being fought lead back to Russia and Iran, who are allies and not friends of the U.S. or the West. So Americans don't want religion to be used to hurt anyone or as a reason to be hurt by anyone. So we cannot dehumanize anyone in these conversations because it allows for the worst of us to be shown. And a lot of people get hurt or die in proxy isolated acts of terrorism, even in the U.S. I think at home and abroad, we learned a lot of lessons in our response to 9/11 and the war on terror. And I'm happy to see that our Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, ironically enough, speaking at the Reagan National Defense Forum in California, had this to say this week. So he said he's personally pushed Israeli leaders to avoid civilian casualties and to shun irresponsible rhetoric and to prevent violence by settlers in the West Bank and to dramatically expand access to humanitarian aid. So in this kind of fight, the center of gravity is in the civilian population. And if you drive them into the arms of the enemy, you replace a tactical victory with a strategic defeat. So I have repeatedly made clear to Israel's leaders that protecting Palestinian civilians in Gaza is both a moral responsibility and a strategic imperative. So Austin is a 4-star general overseeing the battle. And as our history shows us, I believe this is a significant shift in the stance that the U.S. might have taken in the 80s, for instance. So it's also worth noting that as a member of the Biden administration, and 45's idea of conflict resolution is to run his mouth on Twitter like the blowhard he is. So 45 couldn't de-escalate.
No, keep it real. We like it.
45 wouldn't be able to de-escalate an argument at recess, much less be trusted to keep calm under pressure. The man only understands how to throw gasoline on the fire. So we're experiencing wildly different approaches to foreign policy if we examine both of the most recent administrations, one which is clearly the adult in the room. And the U.S., us being globally connected hasn't changed. If anything, we become more connected to the plight of others and seek fairness and peace throughout the world. I think Americans as a whole are interested in pushing forward with those who seek peace and stand united in fighting against the most dangerous ideologies of hate, whether that be Islamophobia or anti-Semitism. So collectively, we all want never again to apply to all of humanity, in my opinion. I also want to take this opportunity to uplift the voices of my Muslim and Jewish brothers and sisters living in the States, especially millennials like me, in saying that they are already on the same page, that they seek peace and freedom from far-right MAGA extremist government policies that have and are doing more harm than good. They support a two-state solution and acknowledge that the decision makers at the table currently in the Middle East are not working towards that in good faith. When leadership only wishes to see the conflict from one side of the conflict, we continue to see this situation break down and evolve. And solving this current crisis likely means changing who the decision makers are at the table in hopes of peaceful conflict resolution. And this will all require follow-up and oversight to ensure the promises made or promises kept.
That is so true. It's
Yes.
definitely going to require some serious oversight, because if we just throw policies out there and throw money at a problem in another part of the world without oversight, what are we really doing? So, Q, did you have a follow-up to that?
Yes, I did. Melissa, this affects so many people on so many different levels. I mean, seriously, the way people are affected throughout our country and through countries everywhere across the world. Can you just give us a little bit, if you could just break down a little bit of how the government itself holds a certain responsibility to not only to the people here, but people abroad as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So one example of when the U.S. did not get involved in any foreign aid and didn't send help and did nothing was the Rwandan genocide. 800,000 people were killed in less than 100 days. And we're asking really the wrong questions as voters and citizens when we ask, why are we giving so much aid to others and not to us? So it reminds me a lot about the meme that you see that circulates that says, why is Narcan free and insulin isn't? And the answer is that both are life-saving medications and both should be free. So this isn't an either or position that we need to put ourselves in. And what we need to be asking is, why are we choosing to invest in other countries, but not also choosing to invest in our own and use that as a reason for our own national security? So it's important for us to continue to give aid to countries that need it so that the world remains stable. Otherwise, we would have to send in more people. We would probably be drawn into more conflict. And we want to make sure that around the world, everyone is able to take care of their own citizens so that we don't have to come in and we don't have to send troops.
Wow.
I like that part of it.
Melissa,
Say that last part again one more time.
Helping others helps us, and that's why we give aid. So like I mentioned before, long before America ever existed, countries gave to each other. Greece and Rome and Italy, all of those countries helped each other when they needed it, because they knew that if they were stable, if their neighbors were stable, that everyone could be stable. And without that, everyone was less protected.
Makes sense.
All right.
yes, indeed. I mean, all of those countries actually. Well, I'm gonna just keep it moving. Melissa,
There's a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about, and I don't want to derail us, so I'm gonna just stay focused and I'm reading the list. And let's keep it moving. Do you think the polls are favoring placing more trust in Trumpito to control the U.S. spending and overlook his legal and ethical issues? Do you think that Trump's favor him at this point? I mean, the polls favor him. Excuse me.
Just 1 second. Sorry. I just lost all of that. What I was going to say about that was I lost where my notes on that section. What I was going to say is, first of all, that I want to say it's election season and we need to be mindful as Americans and inquisitive of everything that we see happening around the world. We already know that other people in other countries stand to gain if we appear disconnected, and they can flood our social media and our media with disinformation. And that's something we learned that we are already susceptible to. So we really can't rule out that setting the Middle East on fire would position political opponents to attack any strategy to improve that situation. So Iranians especially know that Americans would blame the administration in power, and thus any political opponent, to curry unearned favor, because it's already occurred in geopolitical and American politics in our history. So if you take the Jimmy Carter administration, and we learn just how far Republicans will go to gain power many years too late. So back in November 4th, 1979, 52 hostages were taken in Iran at the American embassy. A year later, in 1980, Jimmy Carter lost the election to Ronald Reagan. Now on January 24th, 1981 is when Reagan was inaugurated. And hours after his inauguration is when those 52 hostages were released. Now, later on, we find out, this is many years later, I think it was actually like 8 months ago when it was made public, was that a guy named William Casey, who was made a deal with the Iranians to keep the hostages until after the presidential election. This was to be able to turn out voters in response to Carter's failure to be able to handle this crisis and bring those hostages home. So this positioned him as weak and unable to lead. And then Reagan won. So Reagan's election and the course of history has been changed because of Reagan's election, much of which has been for the worse, from Reaganomics all the way to the war on drugs. Casey went on to be the director of the Central Intelligence Agency. So that's kind of scary, right?
Yeah.
So if we view the current state of world affairs and through a historic lens, we would be fools not to see the similarities and how an opponent to the current administration need only critique the handling of conflict and possibly be even willing to make backdoor deals we won't hear about publicly until years later, when people like Casey's position write their mother a letter talking about how proud they were about the election interference.
You know what? You're so right on the fact that, look, how many years did Reaganomics and the people that were with that whole regime, you know, whether they served in any whatever capacity they did in the government, affect us on up to almost up to Clinton years? I mean, you know, Obama years almost, because those policies still, even though the person is gone, those policies take a long time to fade out, is what you're saying. Correct?
Yeah, and even his drug policy, not even only the economic policy, but drug policy that turned into criminal justice policy, right? Turned into mass incarceration. So, and that was all because he was able to win the election. Now, does that mean that he would have not won the election without the Iran situation? But the fact of the matter is, we know now that those deals were made. So we have to be very conscientious of what's happening in the Middle East, who stands to gain from that, and who stands to gain from making the U.S. appear less able to handle the situation at hand.
No doubt. Look, Kenny, Marty Hayes would be proud. I know he's proud as hell of you right now, because Marty Hayes, this segment is the Marty Hayes Child Please.
Child Please Award.
What's going on? Something that Marty was a good friend of ours that passed a couple years ago, Melissa. very good friends with Kenny as well. He created this segment. We still carrying it on in his name. But one of his big things, Q, was he was a political buff, wasn't he, Q?
Oh man, he was very astute when it came to politics, and it ties directly into what we try to espouse on a weekly basis as much as we can. Anyway, I'll put it that way. Melissa and
it was so much, guys, and Melissa knows. I know all y'all know as well. It was so much in putting this segment together. There was so much that we just didn't have time, the space, to time.
Well, look, I want to touch one area that Arden was passionate about, and we said we would, if we had time allowed, we was going to just briefly touch it. And I have to put a disclaimer out before we even start talking about this area, because there are no winners and there's no rights and there's no wrong in the subject that I'm going to bring up. And we're just going to talk about it for a minute or two, and we're going to leave it alone, because the Knight brothers alone will not solve world issues. We're just the place. And I will say to anybody that's commenting, that got an opinion and everything else, just like Joe Madison says on Sirius XM, we can talk till we blue in the face about some issues, but at the end of the day, what are you going to do about it in your own personal world, in your own space, as you move through life day to day? So I do think we'd be remiss if we just didn't tap dance on this and tap the hell out of it about how Hamas, Palestine, Israel, Jerusalem, how all of that ties together, and how this thing got started over there, and the ceasefire and what happened when the ceasefire were over. Is it over? Is it over the top? I mean, there's no right or wrongs, but I just wanted to get your quick analysis, opinion, and that's all we got is opinions. Or you want to start, or you want Melissa to start?
Oh yeah, let somebody else start, because you really said about 4 to 5 hours worth of dialogue. That question right there required.
I have more. I have more. I'm ready to go. But Arden, go ahead. I would like to hear your
let's get 30 to 45 seconds around the room just on your take on what the hell is going on in Israel. Where do you stand? And
I mean, honestly, if we're talking about, you said the beginning. That's probably not where you want to start. I mean, you can. I mean, we can start about the beginning. I mean, it was basically a community of white people that stated that we're going to take this other community of white people and we're going to allow them to stay in this land that people were already on. So to clear that land out and create space for those settlers to come in, there was some terrorism that went on to those people to clear the land. And I mean, that can be debated, but it's all documented right now in the world court. Agreements were made, and somebody was supposed to be over here, somebody was supposed to be over there. And over this time that we're talking about 60, 70 years at this point in time, since 48, you had people say that we agree. And then you had settlers continue to come in on that particular land. You had different wars that would start off and hostilities. There would be a ceasefire, and all of that land that the Palestinians lost at that point in time, another agreement was made, but they couldn't get back on the land they lost. And again, this happened over and over again. And this time, there's an outcome that's going to happen. They moved off their land, and guess what? I guarantee, I will bet anybody on the phone right now, anybody online right now, $1 to $5,000 that those people will not get back to that land that they previously owned that was technically under treaty their land. So
Arden, just to kind of keep it in a nice tight bow. So what you're basically saying is that this is historic. This is repetitive. This is an act that has gone on for years and years and playing out today. And when Hamas rose up out of the Palestinians that were there, so a faction rose up. And we know about factions raising up, Melissa, don't we? Because we got one called MAGA right now. You know what I mean?
Right now.
But we know about factions, and I'm just trying to correlate and keep this, keep it real. When a faction rose up called Hamas and started to do evils that's not representative of the total people, then the response is what we're seeing now. And so I'm going to keep it there, and I'm going to shift to Melissa because we be all night on this one. But go ahead, Melissa. What's What's your thoughts?
Right. So I think that that's kind of a loosely accurate portrayal of what the research I've done on the issue as well. I think that there was an opportunity for a true two-state solution many years ago, and it should have been followed through. So world leaders over 50 years ago have failed Palestinians. And what I really ache for, right, is that the people who lose the most is the Palestinian people, as well as the Jewish people who have to deal with the result of the terroristic violence. And what we're seeing now is it's been largely kind of chill, I guess, in the Middle East, as far as I can remember. I think 2014 may have been the most recent uprising when they had before. And I'm thinking that the timing of this has a lot more to do with U.S. politics, world politics, and as well as the attempt to grab more land. And I think that the Israeli government's policies aren't very kind to the Palestinian people. And I think that we're going to have to figure out, which is what I mentioned earlier, is that if we don't have everybody at the table who are willing to engage in a conversation about how to move forward in peace, but think about how difficult that would be, right? So
it is. It's very difficult.
As a person, if you're in a state, you live in a state, and the state beside you commits a terrorist act on your people, then someone comes in and says everybody should really just get along. That's not really going to fly right away, and that's kind of what's
right away. You're absolutely
right. Melissa, let me ask you this,
Yeah.
Melissa, because like I said, and we're gonna kind of, like I said, tap dance in and tap dance out on this subject because this could be a long one. But what can people? Because I listen to Joe Madison on Sirius XM when I get a chance to, and one of his favorite taglines is, "But what are you going to do about it?" Because this is an issue, just like it could be an issue of any other issue. You have to do something about it instead of just yapping. Can't people vote? Can they vote? How can they vote translate into this, Melissa? And talk about that as we go into the next 2024 cycle.
So that's one of the main things that I was bringing it back to, right? We need to not ask why we're giving aid to other countries. We need to ask why we're not giving aid to other countries, and also making sure we're taking care of our own citizens. So we've got to figure out who those people in Congress are blocking things like stopping student aid forgiveness and things like social loan forgiveness, those kinds of things. So we need to make sure that we're electing leaders who believe the same things that we believe in, but also understand our place in the national security and international security of the world, right? Another thing that I would mention is that you involve yourself in organizations who are already doing this work. Anytime something happens, there is already somebody working on that cause. So if you are wanting to get involved and be involved in a Jewish organization that's close by, local to you, or if you want to get involved with a Muslim organization that's close by to you, basically what you want to do is, like you said, do something. So you're going to want to contact your representatives, you're going to want to contact your senators, you're going to talk to your people at your state level too, and make sure that there's funding set up for local programs in your area. So the best thing that you can do is to take action and use your voice where others might not be able to. Because really, we're all just sit back and think about how lucky you are. That I remember the day that they said everyone in I think it was the north part of Gaza needed to get to the south by the end of the day. And I can't imagine what that's like as an American to be able to grab all of your things and just head this way because we're through.
Like
So I think the best thing that we can do is, one, be thankful that we're Americans, and then also use our voice when we see injustice in the world to advocate for equal and fair treatment for all. So I'm less concerned with who is right or who is wrong at this point. I think it's, and I hate to I feel like it trivializes it when I say that this is, it reminds me of the Hatfields and McCoys. It just feels like these families of generations of people who are just not ever going to like each other, but think about why they don't like each other. You know, like if your whole family or all of your cousins on your mom's side were killed from either side, then you're going to have an issue with those people going forward. It's, you know, where it's called on site. You know what I mean? So that is where we're at. So we have to make sure that we're electing leaders who are interested in peace, who are interested in true two-state solutions, who are not messing with land anymore, who are not encroaching on more settlements, who are just doing the right thing for people in that region. Because as a kid growing up in America, you hear they're fighting in the Middle East. You know, in your head, you think that that's what happens in the Middle East. That they get up every morning and they fight, and we hear about it when it gets really bad. And the reason why that is because the land was rich in resources, right? And then the land itself was very, the location of the land is tied to so many different religions. So I think it's really going to take people from the international community and people all over the world who are going to say, this is not what we want anymore, which is why I see that shift in what Secretary of Defense Austin said this week, right? So it's important what he said, and it's important that we remain giving humanity to both sides, and that we all also make sure that while we're talking about this, and we don't let the rhetoric get to us, and we're not ourselves spreading hate, so that we're not spreading anti-Semitism, we're not spreading Islamophobia and things like that, because people are, there's a small 9-year-old boy who was killed, I think in Illinois it was. I think three young men were killed recently. I want to say that, I'm not sure if that was in Maryland or Connecticut, but there are people who are not well. And one of the reasons they're not well, right, is Ronald Reagan closed down in his deregulation. He closed down all the mental hospitals. So you've got people who will hear this kind of these kinds of stories, or they'll watch that 24-hour news cycle. I've talked to some people who I'm like, you probably need to just turn the TV off for a little bit.
No doubt. Tell them to tune into the Night Brothers show instead. You know what I mean?
Yes. You can surround yourself with suffering. Like I'm so thankful that I don't have cable in this moment. I chose to cut the cord because I just don't ever watch TV and things. But I'm so thankful that I don't, because if I was watching this suffering all of the time, like, I'm a person who wants to take action. And so I don't think it's healthy for you to watch suffering that you really can't help affect. And I think that the news, makes ratings and gets, money, advertising dollars for you watching them. So they'll repeat that. I remember when 9/11 happened, there was a point where I tell my own mom, I got to turn off the TV. I cannot watch the plane hit those towers again. Like, so there's a point where you need to step back so you can realize how you can help and not become part of the problem. So you're not just kind of angrily posting on social media or fighting with your friends that you've been friends with for years, and that you kind of disagree maybe on this conflict, on what side you maybe empathize more with, that kind of thing. To me, everyone deserves humanity. To me, foreign aid is necessary. Foreign aid helps.
I love that. Great response. I love that. Everybody deserves humanity. What a last statement to end that on, because you're right. You know what I mean? We're all human beings that, when it comes down to white, black, whatever country you're from, you're a human being. You're God's child, in my eyes.
Yeah, children are children, no matter where they happen to be born. And I didn't have anything to do with where I was born. So I'm just, grateful and thankful. And I think that's one of the biggest things that you take away from this conflict, is you see the devastation that your life could be, and you're like, maybe sitting in traffic's not that bad.
No doubt. Look, we're gonna keep moving and get to our feature, because we are running on time. But look, y'all drop a 1 in the chat group.
Melissa, thank you so much.
Like Kyra Brown, like Kyra Snowden Brown is doing, saying awesome. Melissa, drop a 1 in the chat group, or give us some love, because look, she's a hard-working lady. You can tell that she's deep up in the game. I mean, she comes from right out of Georgia, and she, she wears many hats there. We're not going to talk about those tonight, because she said she just want to be a guest tonight and not acting in her role of capacities that she has. But so
we'll talk about it next time.
Exactly. So So, Q, why don't you tell them what we got coming up while I throw these thank yous in one screen?
Well, right now we're going to shift focus. We're going to talk about the KBS annual holiday challenge, which is to lose 10 pounds by New Year's Day. That's 4 weeks, and we're already in the midst of this, guys. And guys, we want to talk about what you're doing, what you can do, and it's not too late. I want you to understand, if you're tuning in for the first time, hey, you still have time to get in on this. And we challenge you to make a change. And we're just trying to motivate people, man. And I try to motivate people for the day. Spread the knowledge and spread the love. So we're going to talk about that right now. Let's take a look at it right now, if we can.
Okay. All right. Absolutely, Q. We're going to show them what the challenge is, so they know it from the T.
Hi, Angela. How you doing, Angela Hall?
year is losing 10 pounds in 4 weeks over 30 days. Our balanced approach includes the 4 elements of intermittent fasting, healthy eating, regular exercise, and adequate sleep. Here's a simple weight loss plan to help you achieve your goal. Element 1. Intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is an eating pattern that alternates between periods of eating and fasting. It can help control calorie intake and improve metabolism. Here's a basic fasting schedule you can follow. Choose a fasting window. Start with the 16-8 fasting schedule, where you fast for 16 hours and have an 8-hour eating window. Example schedule: skip breakfast and eat your first meal around noon, then finish eating by 8 p.m. Consume no food during fasting hours. Drink plenty of water, herbal tea, or black coffee during fasting hours.
Element 2. Healthy eating. Focus on nourishing your body with nutritious whole foods while keeping your calorie intake in check. Consume whole foods. Incorporate plenty of fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains into your meals. Avoid processed foods. Limit or eliminate sugary snacks, fast food, and high-calorie, low-nutrient foods. Element 3. Exercise. Regular physical activity is crucial for weight loss and overall well-being. Aim for a combination of cardiovascular exercises and strength training. Cardiovascular exercises engage in activities like brisk walking, jogging, cycling, or swimming for at least 30 minutes for 3 days of the week. Strength training. Incorporate resistance exercises to build lean muscle mass, which can boost metabolism.
Element 4. Proper sleep. Quality sleep is essential for weight loss and overall health. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep per night. Create a sleep-friendly environment. Keep your bedroom dark, quiet, and at a comfortable temperature. Establish a routine. Go to bed and wake up at the same times every day to regulate your body's internal clock. Remember these 4 keys to successfully lose 10 pounds over the next 4 weeks and accomplish our Knight Brothers Holiday Challenge.
We got to keep it legal, folks. We got to keep it legal. First of all, we are not physicians at all. This show is not providing you any medical advice to any activity that you see that we recommend, that we suggest. If you have a medical condition, we strongly suggest that you check with a professional healthcare provider before, again, attempting anything that we do here on the Knight Brothers Show. Back to you, Randy.
No doubt. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. So, look, Melissa, you're gonna stay around, and because we want to.
Yeah, I'll be here.
We want the women's perspective too. So, look, this is how this is gonna work, audience. Your comments are on the screen because it's on y'all. The spotlight is on the audience and on us. You know why, Q?
Why is that?
We'd already been on this challenge for a week, so you should have done something.
Yes.
We're not starting tomorrow. We started last Tuesday. So we're gonna find out what's going on, Q. Now look, there's 4 elements to this. It's the fasting element, which you're gonna break down on this screen. There's the dieting element. I think that Kenny's gonna talk about as far as the eating that's committed to this 30-day challenge. Arden's gonna talk about the exercise portion of it, and I'm gonna talk about the sleep portion of it. So without further ado, our brother Q, tell him what's up, brother.
Let's go.
Yes, here we go. Audience, first of all, we want to reveal our fasting results for this week, and I'm going to start off, and I'm going to take it right off the bat that because it is a part of my lifestyle, I fasted every single day. Okay, and this is what I normally do. And for those of you who are new to this, we want you to start doing it as well. We want to know, what were your results for this week, though? My results were pretty good. Like I said, I fasted every day. I fasted at least a minimum of 18 hours, 16 to 18 hours every day. Sometimes longer than that. 20 hours, like today was over 20 hours. Audience, what did you do? I want to know if you fasted. If you fasted 14 hours, that's fine. If you fasted 16 hours, that's great. If you fasted more than that, that's even better. But I hope you did at least try to attempt to do some fasting during the week.
Margaret says.
Margaret rocked it out.
Margaret said, look at what Margaret said. Margaret said, this week I was on the 16-8, no breakfast, walked the mall and lost 2. Go ahead, Margaret.
All right, Margaret. All right. That's what I'm talking
about. Big shout out to Margaret Nick. So who else fasted out there, Q? Who else fasted out?
I see Kyra said she missed last week. She missed it last Tuesday. But Kyra, like I said, it's not too late. You can get started right now. You can start right now. It's never too late to get started. Angela Hall, you can get started right now.
Okay, here we go. What is this one saying? Emma said, I did more walking on the vacation. We cooked instead of eating, and I drank a bottle of water after each meal, but it was vacation. So drinks were flowing.
I understand that. You're on vacation. I understand. We certainly understand that. On vacation.
Yep. So, Q, what's the goal for next week on the fasting portion of it? You started off with 16 and 8. What are you trying?
We started off with 16 and 8, and if you started off with 16 and 8, we want you to increase a little bit this week if you can. If you can, you can bump it up to 18 and 6. But if you can't, maybe you can go 17 and 7. We're not gonna be so strict, but we want you to do at least some portion of fasting, okay? So the goal this week, though, in essence, is week 2. We do want you to bump it up a little bit. If you were at 16 and 8, we want you to go to 17 and 7 or 18 and 6 this week. When we say 18 hours of fasting with a 6-hour feeding window. Want to make sure you understand what the terms mean, so you know what we're talking about here. And I see some other results here. I see Mimi said she fasted 14 hours daily and lost 3 pounds. Very good, Mimi. Excellent job.
Congratulations.
Good.
Yeah, Kyra says she will be on it next week. Kenny, you talking about the eating portion of it. We pulled foods away. Talk about that on week 1.
Well, week 1, first of all, we were supposed to eliminate, of course, junk foods like chips, snacks, Doritos, that big fat chocolate chip cookie, sugary drinks, Kool-Aid. First of all, let me speak for myself. And I have a new slogan that my brothers and I, we decided we're going to use this slogan. For some of us, it may slip off. I was in violation, but it was in moderation. I was like you, I was out of town. I was out of town. I was in Georgia at my sister's wedding. So, yes, I did fast. I fasted a little, not as much as I did. I think the longest fast was 18 hours. But I didn't remove all the junk foods. Matter of fact, I broke my first fast with a big fat plate of catfish, some potato salad, some collard greens, and that big Georgia sweet pea. I had like 3 of those. So no, but that's all I ate pretty much that day. I mean, so I was in violation. Keep this in mind, people, but I was in moderation.
I like that, Kenny. I like that. Kenny, what?
Yeah,
so look.
I had some Bojangles, some Popeyes, and all that, but remember, you go violate, but moderate.
Right.
So now we're gonna go into week 2, Kenny. So we slowly removing foods as we get on up to Christmas, New Year.
Right.
So tell them about the week 2. What you gonna do?
Week 2, we're gonna remove that bread. And again, I violated that too. I had a big country roll with some biscuits, but we're gonna remove all the breads, all the rolls, all the temptation of the biscuits and gravy in the morning. This is week 2. So we're going to have to remove that as well, along with the other junk foods, the chips, the snacks, the sugary drinks. And I am on board again as well. But remember, folks, maybe a violation because it's the holidays, but keep it in moderation.
Did you say you're going to remove a big old country biscuit? Is that what you said? Is that what he said, Q? A country biscuit?
I had a big country biscuit with butter everywhere.
Boy, you simple. Okay, Cheryl. Cheryl
about the exercise portion of it.
Oh, let's get Cheryl comment, then we kick it to Audrey. She says she fasted 14 to 16 hours, 5 workouts, 5 days. Let me see. I think that was 5 days, and worked out 3 with
training. Okay.
Oh,
okay, great.
Dang,
Sure.
You was getting it. Shot it. Where is the for her on?
Give her the horn.
There you go. All right, now we're kicking over to you for element number 3, exercise. Talk about it, brother.
Well, we're gonna get started. This week, we got one person that said they exercised 5 times, which is awesome. What we want to do is week 1, we exercise results. If you throw them in, we definitely will put them up as far as your exercise. And if you did resistance training 1 time, at least once this week. So basically, did you exercise 3 times? And who do we have? We had Cheryl Queen. She exercised 5 times, and 3 with resistance, which was awesome. Did you include that? Did you include that on resistance training? And your cardio this week is going to be 30 minutes. Last week was 20 minutes. So we're asking you to add maybe one more day instead of just at least one day of weight resistance training. Another. So see if you can push it up to 2 or maybe even 3 like Cheryl did. But the bottom line is that we just want you to add a little bit on. 10 more minutes to your cardio, maybe 1 more day of strength training. And just in case you're not sure what strength training is, it could be as little as doing some push-ups. If you do pull-ups, then you could do that. If you're not doing push-ups, you could drop to your knees and try to keep your body straight as possible and do push-ups, or even planks. Just getting on your elbows and trying to keep your body straight as possible. And if you think that's difficult for you, I would say just moderate it. Maybe do 20 seconds of being in the plank. Jump out for 10. Jump back in for 20. Do 3-4 sets of it. But challenge yourself. Some things that you may think you can't do, if that's a push-up for you, then work on it. Drop on your knees, maybe do 2 of them or whatever you can. Knee lifts, whether it's sitting or standing. But we want you to move. The best thing is just walking. Get out, do some walking. There's huge studies that after dinner, if you walk, it'll get you right back down to a fasted state faster. If you don't, it takes longer to do that. So engage in just a walk in the evening, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes with your dog, your significant other, or whomever. But we just say take an extra step.
All right, I wanted to say something about bread because I saw a comment. Somebody said I didn't eat bread, but I did a wrap or something like that. I think Kyra said it. And I just really want to, in this challenge, wraps are bread. Even if it's a spinach wrap, because it's a component in there that has a wheat component somewhere in there, some type of flour or some type of something.
Yeah. Unless you're wrapping it with spinach.
And what I want,
like leaf of spinach, then that spinach wrap is fine.
And what I wanted to tell you is that our friend Pierre said some of the most damning things that you can eat, some of the most damaging things that you can eat if you're trying to lose weight, and from just the overall health perspective, from an optimal health situation, is any form of bread. Gluten is a
What did you say about bread?
Bread will make you spread. That's what Pierre said. So gluten is a beast. So you want to be gluten free as much as you possible, because you could do a lot. All of this, like this woman in the blue here, all this exercise, you're gonna be a damn thing. You keeping the bread. I'm just kind of letting you know, because if y'all serious about making this 10 pounds, and we're gonna talk about this in a second. But Arden, help me out.
Shoot, help you out with what, brother? Shoot, we was on the next thing, man. We got to bring Kenny up right now. That's what we need, Kenny. Help us out, brother.
Well, the next part, we're going to talk about sleep. The portion of sleep is what we want to shift over to that.
Absolutely. Lenny, tell us about, did you hit your week 1 sleep goals?
Well, that's the fourth. That's the 4th element. Don't forget fasting, exercise, the food you eat, and sleep. And I'm gonna tell you right here, this is the secret sauce that people miss out on when they don't lose weight. They don't get enough sleep, and the body don't get to reset, body don't get to recharge, and you wake back up, and that stuff ain't break down. God designed sleep so that you could reset, and if you ain't getting enough of it, you swimming upstream is what I'm gonna say. So 6 hours minimum night sleep. I got my 6 hours every night. Some nights I got 8 to 10. There was only one night I didn't get, but I ain't gonna talk about that. But Other than that, I got my 6 in. Okay.
But you got to work out in.
The challenge, right? Exactly. I flipped it. Damn, literally. But the other thing is that we want to up the goal for this week. We want to move that up to 7 hours per night. Now, you don't have to get all 7. One night you might sleep 10, and one night you might sleep 6. But if you average in 7, we wanted to average 6 the first week. The goal is to average 7 this week. And look, the bottom line is this is what we want to know, everybody. Week 1 is over. It's over. We're on to week 2. What was your week 1 results? This is what we want to know. Q, starting with you. What was your results last week?
Man, I must say, I had a great week. I really did. You know, I don't normally weigh myself a lot, but I took it because of this contest. I knew I had to do that. And I lost over 3 pounds in this week alone, man.
Wow. Congratulations, Q.
Congratulations. Yeah. That's something I do all the time is weighing myself. Usually my clothes will tell me, but from a scale perspective, I was over 3 pounds lost down.
Wow. Great job. Art, what was your results? Because the goal is to lose 2.5 pounds a week. By 4 weeks, you got 10. You know what I mean? So what was your results?
Shoot, I didn't miss a day. Actually, the eating part at Armand's party, I had some slipped and had a goddamn cookie. 2 of them, matter of fact. I ain't even going front. Yeah. But that was my downfall for the week, I'd say. And I don't know what my weight is today, but I know a couple of days ago I probably lost a pound at that point in time. I've been working out every day. Resistance. I did resistance training pretty much every day except 2.
Okay.
I think I did like 300 push-ups while I was at work today.
But all in all, with all of those things you did, the result is to lose 10 pounds. So you did lose a couple pounds.
I don't know what it is today. A couple of days ago, I checked it and I lost a pound like 2 days ago. So I don't know where I'm at right now, though. I have to check it. Next week, I'd make sure that I weigh myself Tuesday morning.
Okay. Indeed. Excellent. Kitty, what say you, brother? With all the things you did, the fast and the diet and the exercise and the sleeping, what you lose, brother?
Well, I'm not really. I try to stay off the scale too, because the scale gives you a false sense of security. It lies to you. But I did weigh myself today for the challenge, and I'm right at even. So what? I guarantee you by now, from what I've done this morning until now, I'm down maybe a little something. But I'm definitely headed in the right direction. But I was in violation, but it was in moderation.
Bounce back now.
I still got work to do.
Now,
Melissa, you hear Melissa?
Yeah. I mean, he was in Savannah. We're gonna have to forgive him. He had to eat.
Yeah, that's what I said, Melissa. He was at his sister's wedding. Man, you supposed to go.
Come on.
That's an eating thing.
This is not. This whole situation is not about perfection. We're not here to elicit perfect behavior. We're here to elicit better habits. Is what we're trying to do. Yeah. The goal is
I want to get your response to the same question, or if you would, man. We want to conclude you on this. Could you tell us what your goals? I mean, how you made out this week as well?
I lost 3.5 pounds, Keith.
Oh, awesome, man! That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm gonna tell you why I lost 3.5 pounds. Because I knew I was going to Armand's party, and I knew Armand. He classed at 78, so he was gonna have it righteous up in there as far as the food goes. And he did. It was delicious up in that camp. And he had alcoholic beverages up in that camp. A lot of them. And I knew I was going to do that. Sunday, that was Saturday night. Sunday, I went to see the Washington Commanders. I knew I was going to be drinking and eating up in there. So what I did, I fasted twice last week for 48 hours. I did 48 hours fast, turned around the next after the 2 days, I broke the fast, and I got right back on it and did 48-hour fast again. That enabled me to still lose 3.5 pounds. Even though I pinched out like a mother on Saturday and Sunday.
And I did kind of the same things. I knew what I had facing me, so I extended my fast every day. I fasted, like I said, 18 to 20 hours every day. And even during my eating window, I modified my eating. So and made sure I walked I walked 9 miles one day and 8 miles another. So make sure I do those things to make sure I can meet my goals.
No doubt. Kyra, I lost the pounds. and we lost the game. You right about that? Damn.
Yeah.
You ain't have to remind me,
Sorry.
though. You ain't have to remind me. But so what I did, Q, I came out of the Redskins Stadium, Commander Stadium. I came home, I ate heavy again because I knew I was going to do a 48-hour fast. So since Sunday night, I just ate right before this show tonight. So that was another like 46 hours that I did. It was the apple. The rest of the apple gone. But I just did another 46. So I'll start eat some more tonight. Then I'm gonna start another 48, and that way I'm gonna keep kind of accelerating my loss. So this is what you call extended fasting. Now we're not telling everybody to do that, but if you want to cheat like a mother and still have your way, have your cake and eat it too, do this.
Make some modifications.
Anyway, Q, let's get out of here.
All right.
Look, we got to skip the football and we got to go straight to the closing because, I mean, we've been out here for a minute.
Yeah, we'll pick it up next week.
But we do want to say, ask everybody.
What was the score of the Commanders game?
The Commanders game, it was 45-15. And last time I checked, the Commanders lost, but I could be wrong about that because I had a lot of beers, kid.
I don't think you're wrong, son. I don't think you're wrong.
You be correct, brother.
All right, we want to give closing thoughts out. Q, why don't you kick it over to have Melissa be last? But what's your closing thoughts, brother?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to thank everybody for always being there. I want you guys to just continue. If you haven't started, I want to ask you to just go on and get started this week. It's not that difficult, man. Even if you don't think you can do 16 hours, hey, try to do 14, try to do 12 hours. Just try to skip breakfast in the morning. If you could do that, and just try to do that. Cut off your eating at night and skip breakfast in the morning, and give it a shot, man. This is to help you, to help yourself, okay? We want to help you to help yourself.
Arden, what you say, brother? What you want to leave the people with?
First of all, I definitely want to thank Melissa for your presence and all your insight and information. We greatly appreciated it. Everyone else definitely appreciates your comments, concerns, and what everybody had to share. Thank you for all coming. We definitely appreciate you. Definitely check out what you need to do this weekend. And truly, man, if you do the fasting and you step away from the bread, that bread will make you spread comment is really, really real. And I'm talking about not just sliced bread, I mean pasta, all of that, the wraps and everything else. If you step away from that, you're going to find that you're going to get a lot more traction this week for sure. So I salute everybody and congratulations to all of the people that, did an incredible job and made it happen. And guess what? If it doesn't show on the scale initially, just trust us. Do the next week and you'll see that it's going to do a lot more for you over the week and over the time. And it's going to get easier. But definitely try to stay away from that bread this week. That's going to help you tremendously.
No doubt. Kenny, what say you, brother? What say you?
Hey, Melissa, first of all, I want to thank Melissa as well. Always a pleasure. It's always good talking to you. I'll hit you up next week. We're definitely going to have you back on the show as the election approaches. There's going to be some big political snafus, I'm sure. So fans were definitely going to see her again. As far as the challenge, it's just discipline. Like I said, you may be in violation, but do it in moderation. My big brother said, Arden, no big country biscuits. No rolls.
What about little country biscuits?
Nah, no country biscuits.
No country biscuits. That was last week. The bread is over now.
Yeah, no biscuits and gravy in the morning, all that. But we can do this, people. Thank you all for joining us, and hey, we'll see y'all next week.
Melissa, we're gonna leave it to you to close this out. I'm gonna answer Vonda. Vonda, I drank a lot of coffee and water during the day. No liquids that had any calories in it. So no sugars. I mean, no soda. I don't drink sodas anywhere. No juices. None of that mess. Coffee black. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream. That's the kind I like on mine. Let me stop.
Well, Melissa.
Melissa, what you want to leave the people with? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure. I will say this was our most controversial topic that we've covered so far, so I appreciate the challenge. I hope I did the questions justice, and that some people learned some things tonight and decided to look deeper into why things might be happening in our world, and make sure that we always ask questions and figure out how we can help to make things better. I think that that's really all we can do here. Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
No doubt. Thank you. Next week, Q, you got a teaser for the people? Or you gonna
Yes, sir. Next week, you come on back. Next week, we're gonna delve in a little more into to this challenge, and we're gonna have some other content we're gonna bring with you. You know, we're always gonna have something interesting and something informative, and I know Kenny will have something. Something else he's working on as well. And we just look forward to seeing you guys next week. Everybody be safe and enjoy your holidays. Love you guys, man. Deuces. Catch you next time.
Peace out, y'all. Thank y'all.
Peace.
Take care.